One of the things you took pains to do was to concentrate on some of Marx's work before he was an economist, because he wrote drama and he wrote poetry. How much of it is there?
There's quite a bit. It's deeply disturbing stuff. A lot of it is about the devil. It's chilling. Thus heaven I forfeited, I know it full well. My heart, once true to God, is chosen for hell.
Great Lucifer from Milton.
1837 is one of his first published writings. He would have only been 19 years old. Another one called The Player, and it was 1841. He puts himself, it appears, in the form of this mad violinist who's frenetically, maniacally sawing away at the violin, summoning up the powers of darkness in front of Jenny, the girl that he would end up marrying. And she's saying, why are you doing this? Like a Faustian bargain. He tells the girl, look now, my blood-dark sword shall stab unerringly within thy soul. The hellish vapors rise and fill the brain, till I go mad and my heart is utterly changed. See the sword, the prince of darkness sold it to me. For he beats the time and gives the signs. Ever more boldly I play the dance of death. He plays this sort of Faustian bargain. That's his poetry from an early age. Marx's first love was poetry. He fancied himself as aspiring to be nothing less than the Goethe of his age, to write the Faust of his age. And Goethe's Faust, of course, the famous character is the Mephistopheles character, the devil, demon character.
Mephistopheles in Faust, that's a character I've done a fair bit of study about. There's a motif that's repeated both in Faust 1 and Faust 2. Mephistopheles in Faust is a variant of the heavenly adversary. He opposes being itself. His ethos, which Goethe has him state twice, is that the suffering that's a necessary consequence of existence in its finite and limited manifestations, or our mortal frames, that suffering is so unbearable and so unconscionable that it would be better if existence itself did not exist. What Satan does in Goethe's conceptualization is make the case that life is so unfair in its fundament. He's like the modern antinatalist, that anyone ethical would act in order to bring being itself to a cessation. The problem with that is that the reason that Mephistopheles is anti-being, hypothetically, is because of the suffering. The problem is if you turn that into a political doctrine, all you do is multiply the suffering. You become anti-life. And so you might say, well, I'm working for the cessation of suffering because I'm working for the extinction of consciousness. But if the price you pay for that is the endless multiplication of suffering,
Marxism.
That's partly why I found your book so horrifying, because all that's in principle lurking beneath the surface. What do you make of this conceptually? Marx proclaimed himself an atheist. So the first question you might ask is, what the hell does an atheist have to do with Satan?
Marx's favorite quote, a line from Mephistopheles, everything that exists deserves to perish. That's his favorite line. If someone were to ask me, do you have a favorite quote, do you have a favorite line, I might give a scripture verse, I might be not afraid, something like that. But Marx said, yes, Mephistopheles, Goethe's Faust.
When you really start to understand who Mephistopheles is, he's the foe of everything that exists. Now, the rationalization is because of the suffering. It isn't just the suffering. There's a Luciferian pride element. Mephistopheles is opposed to the structure of being also because it doesn't meet his standard.
Right.
And terrifying, because it truly is the case that as the character of Mephistopheles is revealed in Faust 1 and 2, that's the apotheosis of his philosophy.